Begin.
We begin.
Welcome.
Welcome all to a fun stream. It is a fun stream.
It's a
We're
fun
here, so it
stream.
is a fun stream.
It's always a fun stream with the two people.
I'd say three caballeros, but we're down one. He's in the shop, so.
Yeah, Yoda's not here.
Yoda's not here. Yeah, we're working with Yoda, ladies and gentlemen. He's a side character.
All right.
So let's start ourselves off today on the wonderful world of news. Something came down the pipe. Shigeru Miyamoto, the big name over at Nintendo, a very big famous name over at Nintendo, said, "Hey, I got an announcement." Everyone's like, "What's the announcement?" "Well, we're gonna make a movie." Everyone's like, "What's the movie?" "Mario."
Mario.
So yeah, that's happening now. And the cast was announced the day he let everything go live, and in the description you can actually find the cast. You're probably going, "Okay, whatever. Miyamoto wants to make a movie. What's so big about that?" Well, if you look at the casting list, you'll see some interesting names come up on that list. What do I mean by that? Well, specifically, if I can get this darn thing to load up, because I don't have everything loaded up on ahead of time. Yeah, I'm intelligent.
The master class.
The master class of how to make YouTube videos.
We do a little mastering.
we need to master the mastering. Ah, there it is. Right, here we are. It is quite an interesting list. If you go down, you'll find, for whatever reason, they decided to make Chris Pratt Mario, which, that's really buff Mario, man, right there.
Yeah, that's like a buff Mario right there.
Anna Taylor-Joy is playing Peach. I don't remember her work off the top of my head. Maybe she's been a big name in Hollywood. Maybe she hasn't.
I'll be honest, I haven't really seen anything of her, so.
Mm-hmm. And
don't
of course, Charlie.
don't mind the background gameplay. You gotta
We're
love
trying something new, by the by, if you haven't noticed. We're
Yeah,
experimenting with, like, what looks good. So my head will be here, and
don't mind the
gameplay will be over there. Like, I think
pretty much
over
it's literally the rest of the screen.
Yeah, over there. Everywhere my head is not is the gameplay.
Even though you're doing it on the opposite side.
Oh, there.
Over there. Oh, you gotta love it when a game doesn't go and show you the little mouse icon, but in the recording software it does. So on their screen, on the people's videos, and they can see my mouse.
You're home.
Yeah,
but we can't see the mouse. He can't see the mouse.
I can't see the mouse. You can see the mouse. I can't.
I can see the mouse. He can't. He has no idea where he's clicking.
Well, I kind of have an idea, but not a good idea.
No idea.
That's the one thing with this game. It's old, and
when Oregon Trails, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back that way.
Yeah, when you try to bring out a new game and update it, sometimes it doesn't go well. Anyways, back to Mario.
Back to Mario, right? Oh my goodness, I just lost something. I'll find it later. Oh wait, it's right here. So Charlie Day is playing Luigi. I remember his name from a few movies he's done in the past and a few things. I don't remember his work, but I remember he's done work before. I just can't remember any of it. I have not watched movies in a while, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, maybe it's just because I don't think I'm not into movies anymore. Which, it's just that I'm more a gamer, and I said the word "I'm more a gamer." I feel like half a thousand angry moms just rose their head and were like, "Excuse me."
What do you mean?
I feel like that's a trigger word for boomers right now. I'm a gamer. Excuse me?
Excuse me?
But, yeah, Charlie Day's playing Luigi, which I think I vaguely remember what he sounds like. That'll be interesting. And here, even more interesting stuff now. They got, of all people to play Bowser, Jack Black. You know, the Kung Fu Panda guy.
Yeah. That'll be interesting, because he's, like, comedian dude, and yet here we are.
That'll be like the weirdest sounding Bowser in a good way I have ever heard.
I really don't know how that will turn out. I'll be honest with you, Mike. Like,
I just can't wait to hear like Poe's voice coming out of Bowser and being like, "I can only see a panda right now."
A literal comedian dude is playing like basically a serious type of character. Like,
Like, here's the thing. Of all the funny things, he's perhaps the only person I can actually see being in this movie.
Hmm.
He's the only person I can be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. He would do that. But it gets weirder, ladies and gentlemen. If you scroll down the list of the actual official voice cast, they released all the images for each of the characters, but unfortunately, the thing we pinned actually just realized does not have them all. It does have the names of them all, though, and what they're playing, though, so I have to scroll down a little bit. So, who's playing Toad, ladies and gentlemen? Well, apparently, Keegan Michael Key is playing Toad. I don't know why. That'll be interesting. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, which, eh.
you know, you know, it's gonna be a very interesting ride to see. Like, what kind of story are they gonna go for? Are they gonna go for a brand new Mario type of thing? Or are they gonna go for one of the old kind of story? Like, I mean, no matter what, Mario has always been kind of the same type of scenario where it's like, yes, princess stolen, save,
Princess stolen, save,
do
end of day.
fix.
Fix problem.
Like,
Moving on.
go get person for us. It's like, fine.
So the internet is blowing up about all this, and you
Mm-hmm.
can imagine rightfully so.
Yeah.
And there's a few other people that they actually announced if you look at the official thing. So they got apparently Kamek, so the wizard dude. He's being paid by Keegan Michael Richardson, Kevin Michael Richardson, my bad. And apparently Spike. I don't remember who Spike is in the series. I know he's a thing, but I don't know who he is. He's played by Sebastian. Sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. Maniscello? Maniscello, I think it is. I think I'm pronouncing that last name right. If I'm not, sorry.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
Oh yeah, and apparently Cranky Kong is also in this movie.
Cranky?
Cranky Kong,
Interesting.
Fred Armisen.
Hmm.
So there's a wide range of talent here.
Yeah,
Apparently. If you look
that's
at,
like when you
if you look at
really.
the IBMDB post, it shows all the characters. And
Yeah,
stuff,
well,
and
no,
it's like, oh boy.
when you really think about it, all of the different characters that are going to be in this all don't particularly have a lot of connection with one another, but yet.
I mean, if you put Mario and Bowser, okay, Mario and Donkey Kong, okay, Mario and Toad has always been a set, so that makes sense.
Hmm.
Though Kamek and Spike, you usually don't see much, if anything, of these days. So to bring Kamek back in is interesting.
Yeah, that'll be. Huh. It's weird to think about. It really is actually, honestly, weird to think about. Because the assortment of characters they have is going to make an interesting kind of dynamic on like what what's gonna happen.
What's gonna happen?
Like, what kind of story do they honestly have planned?
And you're probably wondering, ladies and gentlemen, okay, they got a cast of weird people playing weird characters. Cool. Is it a live action? As an animated movie? Well, it's Illumination, so it's an animated movie. You know, the guys who did Despicable Me,
Yes.
those guys.
Yes.
So
I mean, they don't have a bad animation style, so that's for
they don't have a
sure.
bad animation style.
No.
Don't get me wrong. No, their animation is certainly good. Depending on who's writing the film is what I'm concerned about. But since
Hmm.
Nintendo themselves has said we're doing it, and Nintendo has a habit of micromanaging, I feel like Nintendo might themselves be like, we're going to be
Well,
directly involved in this
well,
movie.
here's a parallel. Like, the only other game that's done well with a story or anything that's outside of its own game has been The Witcher, which has had a little Netflix adaptation. But
Yeah.
the only difference is that is the company that made The Witcher didn't have like a really big involvement in it. They just kind of
Well, yeah.
gave them the ability to make the little series. That was it.
Well, if memory serves, that's the funny thing actually. When they made the Witcher series for Netflix, they actually collabed like extensively, and as they were making it, they constantly did with the actual original writer of the Witcher series, and that's why a lot of the things are not exactly how they look in the game. Because, fun fact, actually, the guy who wrote The Witcher has actually a little bit of a beef with the guys who made the Witcher games.
Hmm.
Probably shouldn't do that, covers the mic, but yeah. So there's a little bit of a beef between them. Story for another day. Let's just say guy made Witcher series was approached by guys who would make the Witcher games and said, "Hey, we want the license." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And of course, when you usually pay for a license, you can either the people who sell well not sell the license, but give the rights to the license can either get their money in one of two ways: installments or immediately, or I mean, in a percentage earnings of the actual thing they're making, or as a flat fee. Basically, what this means is that let's say I'm making the story to I don't know, I got the rights to Assassin's Creed. I just bought off Ubisoft. I'm sure everyone's happy
Big
actually. It's
company time.
I just bought the rights to Ubisoft, right? And I have the rights to Assassin's Creed. I'm like, I'm gonna make an Assassin's Creed movie. So I go to like, I don't know, Warner Brothers. Like, hey, you want to make Assassin's Creed? They're like, okay, we want to make Assassin's Creed. Okay, cool. I can either demand a flat fee up front, which is basically I'm guaranteed to get the money. They have to pay me immediately.
Yeah.
So let's say I demand 4 million, they have to pay me 4 million, and then they can just use it however they want. I can't say anything after that. Or I can say, hey, everything you make with this license, I demand, let's say, 20 to 30% of the earnings of that. Okay, cool. So every product that comes in, all the earnings they ever get off that license, now they have to take a 20 to 30% cut and give it straight to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can see the logic to why both of these things exist. Installments, because here's the thing: not every job is a successful job, and things sometimes require you to demand an upfront fee, or you might never get any money out of it. However, it is a wiser choice, in most cases, to demand percentile earnings continuously, because anyone who's played the Witcher games can tell you they freaking took off, unlike the author believed they would. In fact, I believe he only demanded, I think, a few 100,000 from from CD Projekt Red when they first made the Witcher games, a licensed series that has now surpassed several billion in sales.
Yeah, just a little bit of money. We make it just a little bit of money.
So you can tell he's a little beefed about that. But yeah, they collabed with him extensively on the Witcher TV series, and so that's why the Witcher TV series actually, despite not feeling like the games, does still feel like the Witcher series because, you
Yeah.
know, the guy who wrote it was involved in the making of it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how they did that with Lord of the not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. Whereas in this one, it's like, how much are they going to work with Nintendo? I imagine immensely because it's Nintendo and they have a very I don't want to say controlling position, but they like to keep everything very much under their jurisdiction when it comes to their direct properties. Like Mario's their freaking flagship title. Maybe that and Zelda, though I think Zelda's more of the B title. No, depends on who you ask, I guess. But Mario's most certainly up there on the big "We Are Nintendo" list, if not
Yeah.
the top. So I would imagine they would have a great deal of either sway or collaboration or something to do with Nintendo. I feel like Nintendo wouldn't just give them a license and say have fun with it, because it's like Disney going to Warner Brothers and giving them the Mickey Mouse thing and saying like, "Here, have fun with it." I really doubt they trust their icon that much with another studio.
Probably. Yeah. There's a few things there. There's a few.
So here's the thing, though. Video game movies have an interesting history around them, which is what we're going to cover a little bit today. There has been, in the case of Mario, a lot of adaptations because for those who are not old, I would like to say like me, but hell, even the things I was watching were before my time, so even I can't say that.
Yeah.
There have been adaptations of Mario like in an animated form in the past. And one very infamous one, but I'll get into that in a minute, such as the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, which was in the 90s.
Super Mario Super Show.
Yeah, pretty much.
You better be watching or else you'll become a Goomba.
Make you a Goomba. Use some chemic magic, make you a Goomba.
Like
Oh
that
my
that was a
god.
very old iconic type of series when you think about it.
It was. I have, I think, the entire season or series. I can't remember where I put it. I have it, though. I have it somewhere. I also have the Super Mario Brothers. I think I also have the Super Mario Brothers show, not the Super Show, the show. They had another version that aired sometime either later or before. I think before. Yeah, no, like in the area of GI Joe era. That was
Mm.
when the first that show played. You can tell just by the animation style because I've seen a lot of shows from that era. You can tell when they played judging by the animation style. But that was a much earlier adaptation too. So that was another one they did, and that was kind of a play on the whole Super Mario Brothers idea and the icon thing. So you had like the frog suit and stuff like that make appearances all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was there was this idea that they're constantly they've made movies for Mario in the past. It has been a thing they've done before. But they haven't really, well, okay, that infamous thing I was talking about. They did make a Mario movie. Way, way back in, I think, the early 2000s.
Yeah, long ago.
I think those who know what I'm
Long
talking about know
ago.
immediately what I'm talking about.
Long ago in an ancient land.
Let me just look up the exact title because I've scrubbed all existence of that movie from memory.
Hmm.
I think it was. Hold on. Yep. Who remembers Super Mario Brothers? Like the movie Super Mario Brothers. That 1993 flick that offended the very concept of Mario. I do. I've never seen it. I've seen the CinemaSins thing of it, and I've seen a lot of infamy about it. I've never strictly seen the movie because I have too much self-respect, but um, yeah, that was a thing,
Yep.
and that flopped, to put it very lightly.
It's just one of those things where it's like, it might
So it's like,
succeed, it might not. It really depends on what kind of real effort they really put into it.
yeah, I feel like after that whole flop with the Super Mario Brothers movie, like back in '93, it was a live action too. So I think after all that happened, they're like, okay, we're never doing this again.
Yep. We give
Because
up.
we are never doing that again. That is terrible. In fact, I don't even remember if Nintendo officially put their seal on that thing or not. I think it might have just been, um, I think it might have just been someone bought the movie rights and they were just using them.
Maybe.
There was no official like link to it, but this one is very much a link because Nintendo themselves even came out on their Nintendo Direct and were like, "Hey, we're doing this."
We're doing a thing, as you can
So
see.
clearly, this has Nintendo's seal of approval. So that's a high standard to live up to. Anyone who knows how Nintendo operates.
Yeah. We've got a thing going on, and ladies and gentlemen, it's called we're making a movie.
Does it fails? You made Shigeru Miyamoto cry. You made Miyamoto cry. Look what you've done.
Uh, it's gonna be
Uh,
really interesting to see what happens. If I'm being honest, I honestly want to know what they got planned.
Honestly, I want to know. Again, it's like only been like 4 days, I think, since this has been announced. So details are pretty really sparse. No one even knew it was a thing until like they did on their direct and were like, "This is a thing."
We're
And
doing
then they
this.
they revealed the official cast list for everything, but they didn't really say anything about it. They're just like, we've been talking to Illumination. We want to make a movie. We're making a movie, and Chris Pratt is involved.
It's like
You know, the Guardians of the
surprise.
Galaxy guy. Surprise! He also played in actually the Jurassic Park movies, the new ones. So he's got a pretty diverse portfolio. Though it's always been in live action. I don't think I've ever seen him in animation before. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely need to see how
I
it
mean, we know
plays
Jack
out
Black,
with
for
that.
example, has a long animation history because exists. So
Panda Man.
Panda Man, Panda Man exists, and that was a massive success. If
Oh
memory
yeah.
serves,
Oh
that
yeah.
spawned 1,000 cheap copies and shit like that. So it's we'll see, we'll see. For those
Yeah.
who are wondering, I'm looking at my screen and not at the camera. My camera's actually up here, and so I have to kind of like glance up, look at the camera every now and then. I can't just look straight into the camera because the anima's not straight at me, so to speak.
Well,
But
if I'm being honest, real quick, I've been playing this entire game so far without being able to see the mouse on my screen.
I have not actually been keeping track. How have you been going on that?
I mean, it's working out. It's just I have no mouse on my screen. I'm just using my recording software to see where my mouse is.
Honestly, it's like
It just means I just gotta play like super slow because I don't know where I actually am.
honestly, I'm looking at the screen like the YouTube feed right now, and I'm just you can't tell you don't really see your mouse. You can tell it's a little slower than probably would be, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I was really playing this game, I'm pretty sure it'd be obvious I'd be like blazing through, placing things down. It's like this goes here, this goes here. 100% accuracy. I am the master.
I am the master of this game.
Like you'd see a lot, like, because you could clearly tell I'm doing a little cheesy action over here. So
Stuff is happening. Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
am
Stuff is
doing
happening.
things. It's just to what extent am I doing them?
Anyways, on the topic back of movies, here's the thing. There has been other movie adaptations in the past,
There have,
and
yeah.
there have been other things in the past that have been going on. And gaming movies, or should I say video game adaptation movies, have been a little bit of a hit or miss. In fact, no, I should say a very much hit or miss. Because here's the thing. For the longest time, and I think the first video game adaptation to ever be made, if memory serves, was way back, I think, in the early 2000s, if not 99, with World of Warcraft. Yes, World of Warcraft had a movie. I remember it coming out. I remember seeing the trailers. I never saw the movie, but I think I have it, weirdly enough. I think my dad bought it. I don't know why. I think he did, though. I'll have to look into that. But anyways. So that's a thing.
A little bit of thinking there for y'all.
Yeah, a little bit of thinking. And let me just check how that movie did, because I don't actually remember how that movie turned out. Oops. World of Warcraft movie. Here we go.
How'd it do?
Oh, never mind. It was actually 216. Wow, my memory's a lot shorter than I thought it was.
Don't mind me. I go goldfish mode.
Yeah, no, even. It came out in 2016. It came out in 2016, so mid-decade.
Not bad.
And it wasn't bad. I mean, the Rotten Tomato score was pretty low, like 28, but IMDb is like 6.8. And comic books is like 3.4 out of 5. So
not bad.
The whole shtick with video game movies is that they really click with the fan base that they're built for. But here's the thing. Movies are a business, and movies need to make to more than just a small thing. Otherwise, it's no better than a fan flick.
Yeah.
And if a movie doesn't make a lot of money, they're not going to make a lot of return investment and stuff like that. And is that who I think it is? No, it's not who I think it is. I thought the guy who played, like... I'm looking at the poster for it, and I'm like, hold on. Is that the guy that played frickin' Aquaman? His early career.
Is there another character I did not know about?
No, it's not. But here's the thing, movies have been either hit or miss. They're either way too appealing to the general fan base, or they're just generalist enough to appeal to the natural fan base. But, here's the thing. For a long time, no one has really touched video game adaptation movies. Not because there's not a market there. I mean, there's certainly a big market there to make video games on the big screen. But there are technical issues. For example, video games, are meant to be more entertaining because they make you do things, not just a story.
Yeah, you get when it comes to a lot of games, you get the choice to do something or not do something. You gain the ability to do more than you normally would in a story.
Yeah, with movies, it is very much you sit back and you watch the story unfold in front of you basis, which is why books lend themselves so well, because there's a lot of story in a book to play with. Because that's the whole shtick. Whereas in video games, the story doesn't need to be the greatest, it just needs to be appealing enough in the action to keep you entertained. So, it's a little bit of a gray area. And that's probably another reason why video games are a bit of a hit or miss, because here's the thing. You need to have a game series, or a franchise, I should say, with enough, story in it to be able to make a movie out of it. Yeah. Which is why some video games are just off the table by default, because they just aren't big story-wise. But that's why you need to really pick which movies you do and don't make. And even then, if you make a movie, for example, like Super Mario, yeah, there's a lot to draw from, but you need to do it right. That's issue number 2. No one who's ever really made one of these really does it right. There's no real blockbusters in the industry that kind of prove, hey, video game movies are a profitable business and not just something you do when you need to burn a few $1 million. Like, for example, World of Warcraft. I don't know how it was received by the fan base, but I'm just reading some of the tabs right now, and one of the things I'm reading, 8 reasons why you'll probably be upset with the World of Warcraft movie, doesn't exactly inspire much confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it really is this hit or miss, where you need to have people who know what they're doing to make it. Otherwise, the film is just going to come off like a big, expensive dud. So we have seen a trend recently, though, in video game movies, where video game movies have been getting better. Not great, mind you, because it used to be all video game movies were just generically bad because no one knew how to do them right.
Yeah, they all had the same kind of formula no matter what.
Yeah,
It was all
you'd think
just
video gamers would be excited when a movie gets announced, but really, for the longest time, we weren't. We were the
no,
opposite, actually. We
no.
were just as disappointed as you, in fact,
We knew the end was
for the
nigh.
different reasons, but we were just as disappointed as the average movie-going public. Not for their reasons of, oh, this is going to be a bad movie. It's, oh, this is going to be a very bad interpretation of what is usually a very good series.
It was basically along the
So,
lines of, "Oh no, my character, they're
yeah, oh
gone."
no, my beautiful character. What have they done to it? Oh, my beautiful character. I loved him so much, and now he looks like that.
He's gone. All right, goodbye.
He's gone. But we're seeing this trend in this industry now where video games are starting to be a little bit better. And we're starting to see a trend towards making video game adaptation movies because they're starting to actually work. One of the earliest that I can think of actually was the Assassin's Creed movie. I actually did see that one because I am Assassin's Creed. Well, I'd like to say fan. I do actually play those games. So I saw that movie, and here's the thing. It wasn't a straight up dud. It is something I could watch again. It's not perfect, it's not great, and you have to admittedly understand the background of Assassin's Creed to get what's going on at all.
It was very fast paced when it came to a lot of things.
Yeah, it was very fast paced when it came to a lot of things, but it wasn't straight up putrid.
No.
It wasn't great. It wasn't going to break any records, certainly, and you had to, like I said, understand the background of the universe to understand what was going on. But by itself, it wasn't a complete dud. There was attention made, and there was an effort put into it. So it wasn't straight up bad. And so I think this opened the door to the idea of like, hey, this at least made its money back.
Yeah.
So we can clearly do it if we do it right. And that's where we're starting to see this trend because after that, you started to see movies like, for example, Detective Pikachu come out.
Yeah, Detective Pikachu, that one did well.
That one did very well.
Yeah.
And I think after that, you had, no, was it before that the Sonic movie came out?
Before.
No, it was before that. The Sonic movie came out before that.
Yeah.
My mistake. Which was, I think, the second attempt to make a video game movie on the big screen, or at least another actual attempt. And anyone who remembers the controversy of Sonic knows exactly how that ended.
Yeah.
Well, at least how it began. People were like, "Hey, Sonic look evil."
Actually, I think that Detective Pikachu came first, and then the Sonic movie. Because I remember now the whole controversy, like the reason why most people were freaking out was because of the fact that it's like Sonic is looking all like furred like, and it's like, but that's not a hedgehog at all.
That's not a hedgehog. Yeah, no. Like you can see, like, okay, that came out in 2020, and okay. Oh yeah, no, you are right. So Detective Pikachu came out 2019. Sonic came out 2020. However, you have to remember it originally got delayed. The Sonic movie, that is, to fix the Sonic, Sonic.
Yeah, to make Sonic, look like a.
Just look up the Sonic movie, and the first image you'll see is a screenshot comparison of how the two characters looked after they fixed it. The first one just looks
that's
evil.
the thing. Like they were at
They made
least
it too realistic.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like they were at least trying, but let's be honest here. There's a point in which you make a character, not look like the character at all, especially when their eyes look messed up.
And this does kind of point out an issue of why some video game movies fail, for example. This push in the in the movie industry for realism. Make it look more real. Make it look more like a thing that could exist. Here's the problem. Some characters simply can't have that work because they're not built that way.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like the difference between Mario and Sonic's really easy to point out right there in that kind of scenario is the fact that Mario could be more real. You could have a live action version of Mario.
He's a human at the end of the day.
Yeah, but you can't have a live action version of Sonic without really just completely destroying what made, his character his character.
Exactly. You see, like, they tried to make Sonic look like an actual, like, almost a hedgehog thing that in the end just came off as a mutated horror of nature.
Yeah, like terrifying, my guy.
That's kind of the thing that happened, where it's like, I think they were actually going to release it the same year as Detective Pikachu, so that might actually have been where that came from. because the logic was, hey, we'll make Pokemon like I'll get into it in a second, but you see this idea where they tried to make Sonic look real, that backfired horribly, so they made a more cartoony look. Hell, if memory serves, I think even the creator of Sonic himself, like the guys who make Sonic, like Sega themselves,
Yeah, I think they
looked
did.
at it, were like,
That doesn't
we
look
could
right.
probably don't like. They're not like we hate that design, but we're not entirely partial to it either, so don't worry. Like the second version, they weren't even entirely partial to, because
Hmm.
everyone's like, Sonic shouldn't have a joint eye. For those who don't know what Sonic looks like, Sonic is actually a character with just a straight white, thing across his, like,
Visor.
basically just he doesn't have two eyeballs. He just has one straight eye thing in the middle of his eyes, which
Yeah.
works because the actual like division between them is like such a tiny slit that your brain just kind of thinks, oh, those are two eyes, but you don't really see it
Well, I mean
that way.
that's the other thing. It goes back to the limitations of back in the day when Sonic was first created. Is like
Yeah,
they didn't have to worry about creating multiple sprites and multiple things. They just made one sprite and just flipped it when he looked the other way.
yeah, just mirrored it essentially. Yeah,
Yeah.
but so that came out, and the Sonic movie became a little more successful after the fact. Not as much more than it would have been essentially if they had stuck with the original Sonic. Hell, I remember movie talk shows bringing up the Sonic of like the movie and being like, "What is that thing?" So it clearly
This
garnered a lot of
terrifies
attention.
me.
So even when like random talk show, like even when nightly talk shows, like for example, like Stephen Colbert, for example, are putting it up on screen and being like, "What is this thing?" You can tell it's getting a lot of attention when even the nightly talk shows are talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. You don't want it to be bad talk though. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to look nice and
And
get.
they clearly had talent in the movie, so like
Well, I mean that's the big thing is that at the end of the day
Like
the
they had freaking
model
Jim Carrey playing
the
Robotnik, so you know.
well yeah no but that's the thing is like at the end of the day the model when you really think about it wasn't bad. It's just the model for being a representation of Sonic isn't.
Might not have been the greatest, no.
Yeah, it's not the best representation of the character.
For example, I remember the original Sonic like movie design they had like regular sneakers, and I think they were like Nike or some shit. And it's like, why is Nike here?
Yeah.
Go
Nike,
away!
Nike be like,
Give him his pointed shoes back.
yeah, Nike be like, sponsorship.
Give. Honestly, everyone's like, no, no sponsorship. Give him pointy shoes back. We like the red shoes. But But then again, there's the thing. And when you look at, for example, like the Detective Pikachu movie, which came out the year before that, but I suspect was in development at the same time, you saw that same push of like, let's make the Pokemon more real. Here's the
Yeah,
thing, though. In the case of the Pokemon, it actually worked. People actually looked at that and were like, yeah, no, Pikachu is
I
furry. Yeah, no,
mean,
that's fine.
like that's the other thing about it too is like when it comes to Pokemon, they're basically meant to be representations of like animals, like actual
Yeah,
animals. Like Pikachu is meant to be
a
like
mouse.
a mouse rat type thing. So it's
A
like,
mouse rat hybrid
yeah, I mean,
that
let's be
got lost
honest.
in a paint factory.
Yeah, let's be honest here. We don't really. I'm pretty sure some kind of mouse rat hybrid, but like that's the
It's like,
thing.
what is. Don't get me wrong, I love Pikachu as a character,
Oh
but
yeah,
what do you? It's like, what do you look at? If that's a mouse, then that is a mouse that had a full high-speed accident with a
terrifying
paint can.
dreams.
Yeah, it's like that is a mouse that had a high-speed accident with a paint can.
Yeah.
But
So so at the end of the day, I would say for Pokemon it works out nicely, but for anything else, not so much.
yeah, for Pokemon, it worked out nicely for making like Pikachu of like fur and stuff like that. Because here's the thing: if memory serves, Pikachu actually doesn't have fur canonically. In fact, if you look at the very old anime, the Pokemon anime things. Yes, I said Pokemon is an anime. Hate me all you want. If anyone who's a weeb in the group knows exactly why I said that. But anyways, um,
That's the
if you look
thing.
at the
Like
very old TV
back
show, you
yeah
see that
back
Pikachu actually gets bruised. So there is no fur. There's just yellow skin.
yeah
Or if there is, it's very lightly haired.
yeah
Unlike where in the movie he looks like a freaking teddy. He looks like a teddy bear. He looks like Teddy Ursa. But
yeah. No, it's weird to think about, but it is.
but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. The transition did work, and people are like, yeah, no, that's an acceptable thing.
And I mean, here's the other thing is when it came to the actual movie, they could still play out like a lot of the bruising and stuff. Like in the movie, the Pikachu character does get bruised and hurt and stuff. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
like you can clearly see it worked because they did it
it
right.
worked. they did it right. And I think Detective Pikachu, when it came out, really like when Pikachu came out, it was a massive success. And funny fact, Detective Pikachu was actually based on a game from the DS of the same name. I actually have the game, though I weirdly
Nice.
never played it because it was the tail end of the DS's life and I never got around to it. But
You know.
this average game, I think it was like a decent to average game, and they made an entire movie off that, and it was very freaking successful. And so, it was that idea of the entire movie industry being like, hey, it works. If you do it right, it works and makes a crap ton of money. And that's, I think, why you see, like, for example, the new Mario movie coming out and this push towards animation this time because, like, both Sonic and Pikachu were in live action and those had good to results.
Yeah,
And people
not
were actually
not
surprised when the
terrible,
movie was
but
good. It wasn't bad, and trust me, it was actually probably one of the better, like, one of the best movies out there. And so now I see why, like, when you look at it, why is Nintendo looking with live action now? Well, because, well, you saw what happened with both live action movies. If you do it really right and hit the nail on the head, you'll get a lot of money, but the chances are slim. The chances are very good. People might not like it, and that's
yeah.
probably why they didn't reveal the character designs yet, because they want to see if they can get them right first.
Yeah, they want to make sure that, they don't have another
Also, as we're talking,
yeah.
another issue, but as we're talking, I just realized something.
Mm.
Who owns Sonic, Pikachu, and Mario? Take a wild guess. Nintendo. They own the whole lot. Well, technically, Sega owns Sonic, but Sega has, I believe, been owned or partner. No, Sega has been in a long time partnership with their old rivals for a very long time. It's not been completely owned by Nintendo
Yeah,
for
I
that
have a
long, though.
feeling by now it's either been okay, we're working
I believe
together,
there's
or
Yeah, no, they're still their own individual companies, I believe, but they've had a partnership for the longest time now. And kind of ironic too when you look at the old console wars that they were trying to literally, they were trying to murder each other back in the console
yeah,
wars.
it's
But
it's weird to think about. Which I have a feeling that like during the Mario Sonic Olympics type thing, that's when it really like changed, and they started to work together type of thing.
yeah, I'm thinking they're just like, yeah, we can't beat you, so we'll just join you.
Yeah, we'll
You
work
can't
to
beat them, join them, right?
yeah, it's like we work together now. We do a little working together.
So that's how that plays out. And so you kind of have a little bit of a history now of why video game movies have not really worked in the past, why they're starting to work now, and why you're starting to see a big influx of these movies being made. And my computer is dying. And why you're starting to see a large influx of them being made now.
Mm.
Because there is now this sense that, hey, they can work. The movies have not been complete crash and burns, and they've either been received very well or at least decently well. And hey, a B movie is better than a D movie, which most game movies at this point have either been a D or every once in a while C movie.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah, no, it sometimes goes on the verge of B, but never really gets there.
Mm.
So you can clearly see there is this push to make them work. And Nintendo clearly is leading the charge, being the one who's more or less the, shall we say, benefactors of most of these three characters. In fact, hell, I think they might even had a role in Sonic. I'll have to check. I have that movie too, so I'll watch it after. Um,
Well,
but there's clearly this push to do it in a sense. So
yeah, there is definitely a push. The people like that's the thing. There is a fair bit of a market for it, so there are going to be a fair amount of people who do want it.
Mhm. And I don't even know if this is related, but as I'm scrolling down this list of the Sonic things, I see Space Jam come up, and the weird thing in my head is like, is this related to that, or did they literally just try to make a Space Jam movie again? I don't see why they'd bring up a movie that's been, why they in the original Space Jam, memory serves, was animated fully, if memory serves, and yet now they want
Yes.
to do full
All
live
all
action. So
all of it was mostly animated except for like
yeah,
the main character being, not animated.
not. But there's this kind of thing of like, there is this push to do it. So maybe it's related, maybe it's not. But you can clearly see that there is this kind of push to do it and push to do it right. So we will see. We will see.
That is true.
Also, wait a minute, is this true? I'm scrolling down. Oh, what do you know? I'm looking at these articles right now, and apparently they might be making a new Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like a second movie. And guess who? Apparently the rumors are going. And apparently, guess who is being cast as Knuckles?
Hmm.
Idris Elba.
Oh,
That'll be interesting.
yeah.
That'll be the most serious Knuckles I've ever seen, and trust me, that is a very high bar.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. When you think about it, Knuckles' original character was kind of serious when you think about it.
He
Like
was a serious
he
character.
was meant to be guarding like the big main crystal. Like this is the most important thing to be guarding right now. Guard it with your life. It's like, yeah, when you think about it, his original character was pretty serious.
Hell, he even himself tweeted it, and he even kind of confirmed it. So yeah, no, that's a thing now. Idris Elba's Knuckles. Huh.
There we go. More movies.
More movies. So yeah, clearly it was a big enough success to warrant a second movie. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, this is going to, this, to me, this is probably going to be the biggest make or break moment for game like movies and other media adaptation is if this
Hmm.
succeeds. Because Nintendo's
Yeah,
like a really big name, and Nintendo going and
Nintendo is a big name.
well, that's the thing. It's like they're a big name, and they're the ones going and slapping down in the internet's face. We're making a movie,
And
so
we're making this movie, and we're trusting Mario with the movie.
yeah,
And so we will see. We will see.
yeah.
Clearly, it's been successful enough for them to warrant being like, yeah, we trust Mario with the movie industry again. Finally.
Hmm.
Because, again, like I said, after that whole 90 something incident with the Super Mario Brothers movie, I can see why Nintendo never made another movie for a very long time.
Kind of
Because
just
that was
it
a
faded.
yikes.
They kind of just faded into the dark for a little bit there. Just yeah, briba adios, master.
So there you go. You have a history of the movies. You have a history of why movies have mostly not worked for now.
It's
And
just
you kind of have this idea as to why it's all
yeah. I mean, no matter
trying to
what,
come together.
it is this big sudden thing that Nintendo is doing. So it kind of makes you wonder what's with the sudden push and them wanting to do this. That's the big thing, though.
I think they want to be the ones to do it first. And we haven't seen, like, for example, like game crossovers has not been a thing. Like I remember back when Cyberpunk was still, well, a popular thing to talk about. Still is in a weird way, but not for the reasons not but for the reasons CD would want.
Hmm.
There was talk of them partnering with Studio Trigger over in Japan and make an anime for Cyberpunk.
Hmm.
And given the media that Cyberpunk was, or the kind of genre it was, it lent itself really well to it. I'm not too sure where that went. I think it's still in development somewhere, but might be in development hell for all I know. But clearly there was an idea to do it, so clearly there is this drive to see if they can make video games into movies. And I think the real kind of like starter pistol to say that hey, it can work is the Witcher series on Netflix. That was the first time I think it was really successful. I know I originally said it was Sonic or Pikachu, depending on. I'm even crossing my own words. I know originally said it was like Pikachu that really set the bar for like it's a successful film. Oh my nose stuffed them. But
Nah.
when you really think about it, the concept of a video game like story, like sure that proved that Nintendo can do it, and that probably proved to Nintendo they can do something good with it. But I think the real starter pistol was really the success of The Witcher, because that's when you really
Mm.
started to see the idea get bounced
Yeah, no,
around.
I would say how it worked is The Witcher was the one that kicked it off, but right
Oh,
now, to me, Mario is going to make or break it. Like
yeah, I would imagine
Mario's
this is
gonna
gonna.
really set like if Witcher set the tone, Mario's gonna be the one to like determine if it continues or not.
Yeah, I think it kind of went like this. Witcher like set the tone of like, hey, it may work. So they made Detective Pikachu, and Detective Pikachu blew up, and they're like, oh yeah, no, it can work. So that was a proof of. Think of it like this: The Witcher was a proof of concept that went really well. Detective Pikachu was actually them investing in the thing and saying, hey, let's see if we can actually do it. It really blew up. Now they're actually trying to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you are right in a way when when you say like Mario will be the make or break for the industry. I think at this point because now we're actually having like sure we have it right, like we've had major actors in these movies before, but we've never had like current big actors. Don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey's a big actor, but I don't think I've seen him much in more recent works. Like he's a big actor and still a big comedian, but
Yeah,
he has
it's
kind of
been a
fallen
while.
to the B list in a way
Yeah, it's been a little
because he
while.
hasn't done a lot of stuff. And so now we're seeing like, hey, let's bring in like let's bring in current big actors and see if we can make it work. And Chris Pratt right now is everywhere. I'm even seeing on this like IMDb page for the Mario movie. He's even apparently in the Tomorrow War on Prime Video. Like apparently Netflix is working with him too. So he is someone who is in high demand right now. So this can work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now they're trying because it was like, okay, we'll make The Witcher with big actors, but it'll be a book adaptation. It'll kind of be like Lord of the Rings. Let's see if it'll work. It really worked. They're like, okay, let's try to make it like a pure video game movie with Detective Pikachu. And I would even say no, they were even using big actors back then in things like but even then, the amount of big actors they ever used was like one. That's the most they would ever trust. Like, for example, when Detective Pikachu came around, it was who was the guy that played Detective Pikachu? The guy who plays Deadpool as well. We were having this
Oh
discussion the other day, and I
yeah,
can't remember his name now.
yeah, him. He's the
I
guy.
don't know why, but
He's playing Luigi or something, right? No,
no, that's not him. It was
no, yeah, no. Luigi's
he's not
okay.
in this movie, but
Yeah.
I know him so well because I've seen a lot of his work, but I can't remember his name
Well, no matter
for the
what, he's a
moment.
good
Whatever.
actor. No matter
He's a
what.
good actor,
Yeah.
and so they tried to use him in Detective Pikachu. It worked as well. And so like, okay, now we'll make Sonic and we'll use Jim Carrey. He's another big actor, and that worked again. And so now they're saying, hey, we're seeing this continuous string of works. Let's expand the pool of big actors we're having because at this point they've only really used one big actor. For example, The Witcher was played by the guy who played Superman,
Mm-hmm.
played Geralt. But again, they've only really had one big actor because I guess that's all they're willing to afford. Because when you bring in other big actors, the price of the movie goes up, I'm guessing, a lot.
Yeah.
And so now they're bringing, hey, let's bring in Chris Pratt, let's bring in Jack Black, let's bring in Keegan Michael Key, let's bring in these big name actors and see what happens. Because now they're really expanding their pool to a lot of big actors, or at least a lot more than one. So we
Hmm.
will see.
Yeah.
We will see. They finally decided to trust
I mean
not only Mario,
that's
but a bigger budget.
yeah, that's the big thing is that it is clearly a sign that companies are like willing to go into this now, and even if the Mario doesn't work out, like in some scenario that does happen where it doesn't work out, I am willing to bet right now there's at least other companies that are planning on doing this as well.
Yeah, seeing if they can make their own spin on it. So
Yeah.
expect in the next decade or two to see an influx of gaming movies in the market. This is our prediction, I should say.
Yeah, there's a good chance that more will come.
hmm So expect to see more of an influence in the market,
Yeah.
and we'll see. We will see.
Hmm. Well, there's that.
Yep, there is that. And yeah. So now you kind of know the whole story for the most part. I think you know the story for the entire part actually. Why there's such a big movie push, why there are, the kind of potential history. And again, this is all just our theory as to what's going on. Nothing's been
Yeah,
confirmed one
it's
way or the other
never
as to
it's
what.
not we're not able to guarantee anything. It's just
Yeah, we can't guarantee if there
for
will
how
be
it
more.
seems, it's how it's gonna look.
Yeah, it's like we can't guarantee it was neither, we can't guarantee it was The Witcher that really sparked real interest, and we can't really guarantee that all this has been a test leading up to them trusting Mario and a big name set for actor budgets
Yeah.
in a big movie. But from what it looks like, that looks like what's going on. Nothing's been confirmed or denied. It is just the midweek report theory. Yeah, let's work
Mm.
with that. Let's
Mid
work with that.
mid
Theory
theory.
of the midweek report.
Yeah, just call it the mid theory.
The mid theory. Confirmed here, ladies and gentlemen. All theories from this show are now the mid theory.
Yes.
The midweek report theory.
Mm.
My goodness. But yeah, so there you go. In fact, I might even start. In fact, I might even break open that Sonic movie and now watch it. Let's talk about the movie. Let's see if it is as good as people say. Um,
I mean, it's got
but
some
yeah,
good stuff in it. I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen it myself, but I've seen enough. Because I like to spoil myself. I don't care.
Yeah, I
I'll
believe
be
it.
honest. I don't care if I spoil myself for an ending of a movie. I'll spoil myself. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I believe it. Move this to the center, so I'm looking more at the center. There we go.
Yeah.
I've been kind of always glancing this way because actually my Discord thing that we're all kind of holding this on is over here, so I'm like
Yes.
staring over here.
Yes.
I should have probably put it more in the center so I can look more at myself, but I had to constantly glance at reports, so whatever.
It's fine.
Anyways, but yeah, there you go. You kind of know the whole shtick now, as I keep saying, and we'll see how this goes. So
Hmm.
yeah, I
Hopefully.
think that brings us to the end.
Yeah, hopefully, like it is. Hopefully, it does do well. Hopefully, Nintendo goes and sets a stronger precedent for more companies to keep doing this. Because at the end of the day, it can lead to a lot of money for them. If they
Oh yeah,
if they do it right, they'll be able to set up a good precedent for like other companies. Because at the end, like you've got all the people who enjoy the games and the series and stuff who are gonna enjoy it and want to watch it, but you'll also have literally anyone else who at least remotely understands or knows a little bit of the series who would actually probably want to watch it and want to
yeah.
see what's going on. So, yeah.
We shall see. We shall see.
All right. Well,
So, I guess that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Do all the typical YouTuber things like subscribe, comment, blah, 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 blah. Recommend it to a friend. Give it to your cousin. We don't care. Um, Torture your cousin with our voices. I'm sure he'll enjoy it. I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
have fun learning, children.
Have fun learning our words. We are the wise men. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. And as always, in the words of the immortal Red Green, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. Good night.